Welcome back, my poets, to Poetry 101. This week I am talking about roundabout poems, which is a term I probably made up. I'm pretty sure I made up the term roundabout poems. I did not make up what roundabout poems are. Let's see if you follow along with me. I'm going to read the first roundabout poem that I wrote, which is in my book, The In Between. You can buy it now on lulu.com. I'm sorry. I also hate people who publicize themselves, but your girl's broke and she wants people to read her books.
What accent slipped in at the end there?
Let's see if you can catch on what I mean by roundabout poem. This is called Everything. Everything comes crashing down in waves. Waves crashing over me from the sea. See the way they cover all you know, want, and have. Have you ever known complete loss? Loss of friends, loss of self. Self-reflection gets you nowhere. Where you want to go, you cannot be. Be here with me in the second. Second guess nothing for a day. Daylight will break and cover everything. So you might have picked up on the fact that roundabout poetry is the art of repeated words. So the last word of each sentence is the first word of the next sentence. Now, story time, I wrote this either before or during Bible study one night. Sorry, whoever was preaching that night. Some of these words are not exactly the same. Some of them are, is it synonyms? No, homonyms, homophones, homonyms. Honolulu. They are different words that sound the same, and I count that. Are an interesting case of zeugma, which we will talk about later in Poetry 101. To briefly explain, zeugma is when one word means two things. Let's break it down. Everything comes crashing down in waves, waves crashing over me from the sea. Waves, in that case, crashing down in waves, waves crashing over me from the sea. It pretty much means the same thing. Now, everything comes crashing down in waves does not mean like physical waves, but waves crashing over me from the sea implies the physical, literal waves. Now, it does say from the sea, and the next sentence says, see the way they cover all. Now, one of those is SEA, as in the ocean, and the other one is SEE, as in vision. That is a case of homonyms. You think I would know. One of the books I really like from Anna M. Martin is a book that has the main character who is obsessed with homonyms. See the way they cover all you know, want, and have. So that's again the same way. All means the same thing, have means the same thing, and the next one, which is have you ever known complete loss. Now, have in the second sentence is a question. Have you ever known? Not do you have knowledge of, and then loss, and the next one, have you ever known complete loss? Loss of friends, loss of self means the same thing. Now, the next two are fun because there's a hyphenated word, self-reflection. So self and self-reflection. It's not really like cheating. Not that any of this is cheating. It's poetry. There is no rules. You can make them up. There's a whole video I've talked about the fact that there's no rules in poetry. There's guidelines. There's suggested things. But there's not like, you got to do the specific thing. Now, the next one is less straightforward. So next one is gets you nowhere, but I don't continue the next sentence with the word nowhere. I continue with where. The same thing could be done with, you end a sentence with therefore, and then start the next sentence with for. That would count. It's not cheating, it's making you look like a genius. Next, we have where you want to go, you cannot be. Be here with me for the second. Now, second, this is, okay, so again, as an ASL person, I love the same word that means 5 different things. So there's a bunch for second. So we have second as in like there is a second that is passing. We have second as in this is the second thing in an order of events or in a list or what have you. And then I forgot what the other one was. I feel like there was 3 and I can't remember what the third one is. And that's on brand for me. So that's what this is happening. We have be here with me in this second as in moment of time. And then second guess nothing, which means think for a second time as in numbers, not passing of time. For a day, daylight, here's another example of we end with one word, but then the next word is a different word, but it starts with the same word that the last one ended in. I hope that this is making sense. And then I end with daylight will break and cover everything, and everything was the first word of the poem. If you want to see, I love annotating my own books. I love annotating other people's books. This is how I have the poem sectioned out with highlights so that you can see the theming of the roundabout poem. Now you might be like, Abby, this is so basic. Why would you waste a whole video on this? Not even a bonus video? You're doing a whole video on this? Let's talk about it. There's another poem I've written. This one is not published yet, called What They Did to Me. It is not about me. This is a poem I wrote for someone else. It's part of a project that I have currently shelved and will be picking up eventually. But let's look at some sentences from this, okay? We're over, and over again she cheated. I forgave her again, And again, I don't know why the relationship ended. Villains never know they're evil, and I could see it clear. As daylight hit, I found a new place. I figured out that I didn't know. No one told me they were together all along. Long nights spent in tears after a long day. Hey, it's continuity error, Abby. Popping in to say I didn't say it in the video, but I'm going to say it here so that y'all know that I'm aware of things. This second poem, it's not back to back the same word all of the time. This one is more fragmented sentences where it kind of makes you think about how they are connected. So instead of it being like a roundabout, so where this one lets out, this one lets in, it is more like this sentence isn't completely finished, but this sentence is taking over. That's more of what this is. I'm counting in this video to show you how roundabout poems can make you think the way that the second poem is written. Also, I have the sentence, cherry chapstick and chocolate eyes, pick a poison, they all lie. Bars! I really hope it did that weird thing that the mic does when it picks up too much noise. So again, it's this idea of running on sentences. So in those sentences, it's not exactly a roundabout poem, but it's taking the end of one thought that might not even be a full thought and tagging it on with a second thought. So that example here is I forgave her again, and then I cut off that sentence and I go, again, I don't know why the relationship died. So it's like half of a thought here and half of a thought there, and you put those two half thoughts together and they complete each other, which is really fun. And again, it makes you look like a genius. I love looking like a genius because then people don't know how silly I actually am. So again, the end of this sentence is I could see it clear, and the next sentence is as daylight hit, I found a new place. So I could see it clear as daylight would be a full sentence, and as daylight hit, I found a new place is also a full sentence. It takes two different thoughts and puts them together as one thought. It makes you look like a genius. So you can do something that's a little more abstract. The poem Everything isn't like saying nothing. There is something there, but it's more of a stretch and you have to be more artsy and poetic, but like in like a what is she talking about? I think she's saying something, but I can't decode it kind of way, compared to this, which is very clearly saying something. I hope that this video makes sense. I really am enjoying these videos. The last video in the series is probably my favorite one that I've ever done, and I think it's because I really like talking Bible nerdy things. So if you want to check that one out, or you want to check the rest of this playlist out, they are over here. You can subscribe over here. Thank you for watching. Check out my Instagram at official Justin Strikes. It is linked in the bio, as are all of my books and my Goodreads.